Here's your wrestling news for April 12th, 2023, and we're kicking off with AJ Styles, who hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the December 19th, 2022 edition of Raw, where he lost to Sami Zayn. Mere days later, Styles suffered an ankle injury that has kept him out of the ring ever since, and what is the latest from the former WWE champion? When Ringside News reached out to see if there was any update on AJ Styles' status, they were told that there was no update on Styles, and he remains unavailable until further notice. The University of Connecticut notes that a broken ankle, the injury AJ suffered, can take at least 6 to 12 weeks to recover from, and for athletes, it can be several months before they can resume activity. Once Styles is healed, WWE will also have to come up with a storyline to reintroduce him, a process that can take an undetermined amount of time, so only time will tell how long of a wait we're looking at. Styles had been teaming with the Good Brothers against the Judgment Day prior to his injury, and what do you want to see from the Phenomenal One when he eventually makes his way back to TV? For all the colorful characters in various promotions over the decade, the wrestling world still seems to revolve around Vince McMahon, no matter how much that may pain some people. McMahon's every moment and business deal is covered rigorously, and reports of whether he will be backstage at a Raw or SmackDown are weekly occurrences now that he's back with WWE. Despite all the controversies over the years, from the steroid scandal to the hush money related retirement of last year, McMahon has been able to maintain power, and recently, the chairman signed the biggest deal of his career with the WWE-UFC merger. Prior to the deal being signed, fans hoped that WWE's new owners would want nothing to do with McMahon, and while that isn't the case, there is a glimmer of hope for these fans. The Hollywood Reporter notes that McMahon's latest contract with WWE, signed just before the deal with Endeavor, has a conflict of interest and code of conduct clause, which the chairman has to obey. According to the contract, McMahon's continued employment with WWE is contingent on him complying with this code of conduct, as well as the company's equal opportunity and non-harassment policy. While the contract doesn't outright state it, violating these clauses could spell trouble for McMahon, and could even see him be forced to step down from WWE with little to no chance of returning. As we all recall, McMahon had to resign last July due to an investigation into payments the longtime WWE boss made over several years, with the payments used to cover up alleged affairs or accusations of sexual harassment and assault. As if that wasn't enough, McMahon recently settled a separate lawsuit with former WWE referee Rita Chatterton for an undisclosed sum, though McMahon has always maintained his innocence in the face of her rape allegations. Speaking about the scandals following the WWE-UFC merger, McMahon stated that he has owned up to his past transgressions and moved on, though many aren't as eager to move on. McMahon is fervently back in control of WWE, but he will have to keep his hands to himself. And what do you think to this contract? And will these clauses force McMahon to change his behavior after his controversial return to WWE? Let us know in the comments. At WrestleMania 39, Rey Mysterio defeated Dominic, but as we've seen on the subsequent Raws, the feud between the two isn't over yet. It has already been rumored that a tag match could take place at Backlash, pitting Rey and Bad Bunny against Dominic and Damian Priest, but that isn't the only high-profile match that could happen. Speaking on the Impulsive podcast, Rey suggested that he and Dominic could put something on the line each, as is tradition in Lucha Libre. He said, "Maybe I put my mask on the line against Dominic's hair, which is some lucha culture. If I lose, I take my mask off. If he loses, he shaves his hair off. That might be interesting." When Logan asked if the match is happening, Rey said it isn't confirmed, but did say he will pitch it and challenge his son. Rey has been forced to put his mask on the line multiple times throughout his career and was forced to unmask in WCW. And either Rey or Dominic will be looking very, very different in the not-so-distant future. During this week's Raw, Cody Rhodes challenged Brock Lesnar to a match at Backlash, and that bout is expected to be confirmed in due time. The match will no doubt headline the show, given that Roman Reigns won't be competing in Puerto Rico next month, but what will come next for the Beast Incarnate? According to WRKD Wrestling, one idea being floated around backstage is for Lesnar to go one-on-one with Gunther, as they report. While Gunther has publicly stated during interviews that he'd like a match with Brock Lesnar, the idea has been floated backstage to potentially have them face off sometime this summer. Last December, reports circulated that Gunther Lesnar was the plan for WrestleMania 39, though that didn't happen, and both men would go on to win other matches. During the Men's Rumble match, the two powerhouses had a brief face-off, and judging by the reaction from the crowd, this is a match fans want to see happen. In interviews, Gunther has openly spoken about wanting to face Lesnar, even describing the Beast as his end boss, and expect a very, very physical match to take place this summer. Are you excited to see Lesnar possibly throw down with Gunther later this year? And who would you have emerge on top? Sound off in the comments below. Lesnar's most recent match for WWE saw the Beast topple OMOS at WrestleMania and was able to F5 the Nigerian Giant in the opener of Night 2. When the match was made official, fans were appalled at the idea, being that Lesnar was being wasted by being put in a feud with OMOS, who is still considered relatively green in the ring. Speaking on his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T reflected on the match and gave his view that the wrong man won in SoFi Stadium. He said, "To have someone like Brock Lesnar to help OMOS grow, I thought that could have been a good thing, but obviously they've got other plans. With Brock, doing the thing with Cody Rhodes. Maybe Brock and Cody look like they're gonna mix it up. Cody may have to go through Brock to go to the next level. I get it, but I did think that it was a moment that we could have really made OMOS the ultimate giant. Yeah, I think we missed the moment." Given how angry fans were that Lesnar was being used in a feud with OMOS, we can only imagine what the reaction would have been had the 10-time WWE World Champion lost to the Nigerian Giant. Now Lesnar has entered into a feud with Cody Rhodes, while it remains to be seen what OMOS does next. But do you think the former Raw Tag Team Champion should have been the one standing tall at WrestleMania? During WrestleCon, WWE Hall of Famer Rick Steiner went on a transphobic rant against Giselle Shaw, who had done nothing to instigate this confrontation. Shaw had been signing autographs just like the many wrestlers there when Steiner called Shaw a piece of trash, filth, and even attacked her gender identity, as corroborated by several people who were at the event. This rant has led to Steiner being banned from WrestleCon, and it seems now the wrestling veteran hasn't got much to say. As Lex Luger and Rick Steiner were traveling back home through the airport, Steiner was confronted by the Joy of Everything YouTube channel and was asked about the comments he made at Shaw. Steiner quickly avoided answering the question, as it seems that he doesn't appreciate people standing up and questioning the comments he made at the convention. Steiner has made a handful of appearances for NXT as his son is Braun Breaker, but with the backlash stemming from his comments, it may be a while before we see him on the Gold brand, if ever again. In 2013, Eva Marie made her WWE debut, and to say that she wasn't welcomed by the fans is to put things mildly. While Eva did make improvements in her in-ring skills, the former Total Divas star was released in 2017, and although she returned in 2021, she was released again just a few months later. Recently, Piper Niven spoke about how much she misses working with Marie, and the two could soon be reunited in the company. Speaking with WrestleZone, Eva said that she and WWE are in constant talks and revealed that her 2017 departure wasn't because she wasn't welcomed in WWE, but because she had been cast in her first lead action movie. By all accounts, Eva Marie left WWE on good terms in 2017, and her departure in 2021 clearly hasn't stopped her and WWE from discussing a comeback. While fans may not have liked Eva Marie, her ability to draw heat from the fans was undeniable, so we'll just have to wait and see if WWE has a role for her in the new era of the promotion. Now at WrestleMania, Finn Balor's Hell in a Cell match with Edge was briefly stopped after a ladder to the face caused Balor to be busted open. This wound required 14 staples to shut and saw the Irish superstar lose a lot of blood in Los Angeles, and it nearly caused WWE to nix a match on Raw. Fightful Select reports that there was concern backstage at this week's Raw ahead of Finn's match with Rey Mysterio, given that the former Universal Champion was banged up. Although Finn Balor is banged up, he still carried on and did his job on Raw this week, and we have to give props to the Judgment Day star for fighting through the pain during this week's show. Balor competing meant WWE were able to continue their feud between Rey and the Judgment Day, but should he have been in the ring on Raw? Give your opinion in the comments below. This week, Logan Paul confirmed that he has signed a new deal with WWE after one of the most impressive rookie years of any superstar in recent memory. Paul has won over even the most cynical of wrestling fans with his 5 matches with the company, but as he embarks on year 2 as a WWE superstar, what's next for the Maverick? Sitting down with ESPN, Paul was very confident in his abilities as always, and in an interesting line, said he wouldn't have signed a new deal if he didn't believe a title run was a legitimate possibility. "I wouldn't have signed this contract if I didn't think that I was capable of getting a WWE belt. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. I'd love to have it on my resume, and I'd love to show every kid around the world who watches WWE that you can achieve anything." Paul didn't specify which title he plans on holding as a WWE superstar, but we know he did challenge for the undisputed WWE Championship at WWE Crown Jewel last November. On Twitter, fans suggested that Paul would make quite the US champion, and they would love to see him dethrone Austin Theory, perhaps at SummerSlam later this year. While fans may have been horrified at the idea of Paul being a champion when he debuted, the Maverick has proven that he belongs in the ring. And are you open to Logan Paul one day being added to WWE's record of champions? It was earlier this year that Matt Riddle exited rehab following a violation of WWE's wellness policy, but his time away from programming was not without controversy. During his time away, Riddle was accused of sexual abuse by his ex-girlfriend Daniela Petro, who has now spoken up again about the original bro. After a guy named OJ was pictured with Riddle, Petro suggested that Riddle isn't as sober as he wants people to believe, which earned her a lengthy response by OJ. On Twitter, Petro shared screenshots of OJ's tirade at her, in which Petro is called an obsessed fat cow, jealous, bitter, and other words we can't say, and Daniela had some choice words of her own. In her response, Petro reiterated her claim that Riddle is an alcoholic drug addict and tweeted, "Matt, Super King of Bros, come get your chihuahua. And tell the people who find these things and send them to me to just stop sending them to me, and I won't have something to talk about or give my opinion and voice my concerns over. But who doesn't like a truth teller or whistleblower?" Daniela Petro obviously doesn't like the fact that Riddle is back in the spotlight and is sticking by her claims that he is an alcoholic and an abuser. And what do you make to this entire situation? It's no secret that WWE has their eye on several members of the AEW Ring of Honor roster and hope to snatch some talent away from Tony Khan. MJF, Kenny Omega, and Wardlow are just some of the names on WWE's radar, but one name they wanted won't be becoming a superstar just yet. Fightful Select report that Brian Cage has re-signed with Khan after it was reported that his deal with the company ended prior to the Supercard of Honor event. Top talents in AEW advocated for Cage to re-sign, and Fightful adds that the promotion made a concentrated effort to re-sign him and finalize a deal in the past couple of weeks. This comes as bad news to WWE, as top talents in that promotion had expressed interest in him, and WWE's talent management had also expressed interest in working with him. Now Cage will be sticking with Tony Khan, someone who Khan said he really likes on the post-Supercard of Honor media scrum, and we'll have to see if this was the right call for the former FTW champion. And we're ending today with Jim Ross, who battled skin cancer not too long ago, and while he was able to beat it, the AEW commentator is dealing with the aftermath. On Twitter, JR informed his fans that a pesky wound from his cancer isn't going away quickly, but revealed that thanks to his treatment, the wound has reduced by 43%. JR may not be a pro wrestler, but he is certainly a fighter, and we wish him the best as he continues to recover from his victory over cancer.